Take someone with you. My manager calls to me as she clears the final dining table. I work at a fairly nice restaurant. Steak and ribs is the place's specialty, and mine is liquor. I man the bar most nights. I just finished loading the remainder of the empty bottles, cartons, and broken glasses into a medium-sized crate, hoisting it into a trolley just outside the building, ready to close for the night. What? I call out to my manager. She abandons her tray of glassware and walks over. Take someone with you to the bins, okay? She returns to her duties before I even have a chance to respond. I look over to the bar. Stanley, who doesn't really talk to anyone, is busy polishing cutlery, judging Abby's attempts at cleaning the coffee machine with snarky jabs. She's not taking his shit, and gives back what he's dishing out. She turns around and Stanley, feeling safe, flips her off. To my right, I watch Rana mop the floor. He's quite focused and a hardcore clean freak, which makes his mopping both calming meditation and serious torture for him. One dirty footprint, and I'm finished. Sitting down doing fuck all is Will. We all hate Will. Even if I asked him, he'd say some stupid shit like, "Oh, I can't. My mum will be here to pick me up soon, so yeah." The guy drives. We all know he drives himself here. I scan the room one final time before saying, "Oh, fuck it," and start pushing the trolley to the bins. It'll be quick. The restaurant is just one small part of a very large shopping centre. It sits on the outside of the building, which is situated just by a small fountain. Through the day, you'd see a plethora of families and couples doing their shopping, getting food or coffee, or just loitering the surrounding areas. But at night, it was a ghost town. 30 metres up from the restaurant is a large metal gate, which leads down into a shared disposal area. All of the restaurants use it. It's quite dark down there, and the mix of putrid smells and scampering rats makes for a fairly heinous adventure down the ramp. About 12 trolleys are scattered by the large industrial containers, relics of past bin runs. A single light flickers up on the wall, and beside it, a security camera. Busted. Abby tells me a couple of teens were seen tossing bottles at the wall, one successfully smashing the camera's lens, though instead of running away, they continue to throw them. Very ballsy. I lift one of the 3 full crates into my arms and continue the momentum up, over, and into the large green recycling bin. The glass bottles make a jarring crash, delivering an unpleasant ringing to my left ear. I take a moment to orientate myself, the high-pitched squealing sending my sense of gravity through a loop. It happens every time, and yet I refuse to slow down the pace. I toss the crate back into the trolley. I just want to get home. The strange thing tonight is that the sound began to morph. At first, an intense, constant, and debilitating scream. Then, it was a light whisper. It was raspy, but had a sweet lightness in its upward inflection. It was comforting in comparison to the short-lived tinnitus. This sound, however, lasted longer, with large intervals between each soothing call. It also sounded like words, or just one word. Hey. I spin my head to the left and jump back a little. Lurking just on the cusp of the light's reach is a rugged man with a face mask wrapped around his chin. From what I can see of the figure, he adorns a green wind jacket with the hood propped up and ripped jeans. On his right foot, he wears a large black boot, the kind you wear after a serious injury. His mouth creaks back and forth between neutral and slightly open, like he's about to say something. Each time, his mouth begins to quiver. "Hey!" The word escapes his uncertain lips. I pause momentarily and just watch the man watch me. Both of us are in awe of each other. He blinks, and I blink. He breathes, and I breathe. If he laughed, I'd probably laugh too. I scramble to find some words, or any word which could help me escape this endless standoff, and "Claire?" He continues the interaction. I can feel myself caught off guard, just a little bit, before opening my mouth. No. Not Claire. I watch his eyes wander slightly downward. The light flickers and the stranger is momentarily cast into darkness. His face lights up again and he's staring at me, more bewildered than before. He shakes his head. "Not Claire?" "No, not Claire. Sorry." I try to half smile. "Oh." The man slowly squats down. "Thought you were Claire." He settles his hands over his knees. They dangle at the wrist.
"I'm supposed to meet Claire. She said she'd be here."
"I'm sorry." I keep a close eye on him, analysing the way he sits, almost childlike. There's an air of silent thought.
"Claire said she'd be here. She did."
He looks down, then off to the side before returning to my gaze.
You have a phone?"
I freeze. Again, I'm caught in this awe-struck position, and I say the only thing I can say, what I thought would be best, all things considered.
"What?"
Stupid.
A phone."
He rises back to his 6-foot position.
You have a phone, so I call Claire. I have her number here."
He holds out his hand, opening his skeletal fingers like some sort of malnourished flower. In his palm is a piece of paper, crumpled and wilting.
This is Claire's number. If you have a phone, I call her."
I catch my breath. I don't have a phone.
"No?"
No, I don't have a phone. His hand falls back to his side. He doesn't stop staring. His mouth frowns a little.
"I need to call Claire. I have to call Claire. She said she'd meet me here."
I'm sorry, I can't help you. He steps forward, further into the light. His eyes are dark and hollow, his face a gaunt and grotesque bust, covered with all forms of dirt and grime. The light flickers, and as the lights come up again, he's closer, about 3 feet closer.
"I need to find Claire."
He steps forward, and I slide my hand into my pocket. He flashes the paper again.
"This is her number."
He scrunches it and makes an audible grunt while tossing it to the cracked pavement. As the paper slips from his crooked fingers, my keys slip between mine. He steps forward. He's about 15 feet away.
"She lies."
He barks and points at me with cruel intention.
"Lies."
His black boot makes a plastic crunch as he steps forward once more. He's 12 feet away, No, I didn't. I didn't lie. I tighten my grip, each knuckle armed with its own miniature dagger.
Again! She lies!
Another step, much larger. I shuffle back and bump the trolley, causing it to rattle, a sinister melody alongside the chattering of dirty bottles. I am reminded of my poor choices.
Where did she go?
He looks around himself, almost searching for something or someone.
She tries to run from me. Why does she run? Why?
I'm 2 seconds away from throwing a flurry of sharp, key-shaped punches when he abruptly stops. He just stops. No more steps forward, he just looks right. His expression is dumbfounded and rigid. I can hear him muttering something. He's unintelligible. He looks left. He shakes his head, then looks right again. He shakes his head again and lets out a grunt. He peers downward, his eyes navigating the pavement. He looks up at me. One last time.
Okay. Bye, not Claire.
Without so much as a hint of hesitation, the nightmare nonchalantly hobbles back into the shadows. I hear his footsteps trail off into the inky black. Off past the edge of the building. Slowly, they dissipate into nothing. The altercation only lasted minutes. The only thing audible was my breathing, which found a sharp edge on its way in and out of my lungs. It was accompanied by the thumping of my heavy heart. Sweat crept its way down my face, and suddenly I felt the exhaustion. Once I'm sure I'm alone, I finally release my keys and start to cry. I hadn't realized how overwhelmed I was until I collapsed back into the trolley and slid down to the asphalt, my legs attempting to support the descent while shaking relentlessly. I whimper into my shirt, the fabric soaking a startling amount of water. I think I sat there for almost 10 minutes just consoling myself, while simultaneously keeping an ear out for a plastic limp. After wiping away any last tears, I slide myself back up, using the trolley as leverage. I turn to face the remainder of my assigned task. 100 different reminders to what led me here. It all feels so surreal to go back to this after what just happened. I turn back around and stare off into the abyss. I worry that if I turn around just for a second, he'll be back. Just on the cusp. I look down. The paper. I hesitate for a moment. I look forward. I look down. I quickly move to scavenge the paper, swiping it from the ground before returning. I check the dark again. The paper feels damp and looks stained with God knows what. I unravel the parchment and inspect the contents. There is a phone number on here, although it is hard to make out. I spend a few minutes deciphering the puzzle, and I see 04 678 9 5. What? What the fuck? The final numbers make themselves known, although it's easier to see them when you know what you're looking for. It dawns on me. This man, he had my number. My real phone number. This is actually my number. Where the fuck did he get my number? I hear footsteps spread up behind me. I aggressively grip my keys once again and swing them to my assailant. I let out a shuddered squeal before spotting my manager as she jogs down the ramp. I ease up, dropping my fist back down. My manager slows down from a jog to a walk and joins me in the lot. She looks me up and down. She can see my misty eyes and trembling hands. She spots the keys. She sees 2 full crates of rubbish. She drops her head. I can sense the "I told you so" coming. She looks into my eyes.
What did I tell you? I said to take someone with you, Claire.